What up, everybody? It's your boy, the humble hacker from Ch1-R0n1n's, back with a new module, and today we are going over FTP enumeration. This will be fun. What is enumeration? The only way to find out is to press any key to continue. There is no actual any key, and also don't actually press any key to continue. So moving on. Enumeration is creating a complete and ordered listing of all the items within a collection. In our case, digging up as much dirt on all of the open available ports that we can find. And there are a lot of different questions that we have to ask ourselves when we perform enumeration is what services are running, or what do they have any like versions? Is there software versions? What bugs or vulnerabilities can we find from either Searchploit or ExploitDB or any other page? If we Google search, any GitHub repos with vulnerability scripts. Now, what kind of enumeration can we do? For this module, we are going to be focusing on FTP. Now, what, pray tell, is that? FTP stands for the File Transfer Protocol. This is data that is shared on a server. I use that in quotes because you can either use an actual server or your personal computer to act as an FTP server that is assigned to either port 21 or whichever port that you want to assign it. It'll contain files that a user can access remotely with proper credentials. Now, here's a nice little diagram that I have nice in here. Good thing I didn't click anything there. This is going to basically describe the overall process. So we have our client. Our client connects to this server here via however type of authentication method that we'll get into later. Once the server says, okay, yeah, you can see what I got, then it'll allow the client to be able to view whatever data that this server has and either add or download files. Now, in lab environments, this service would be both available as well as might have hints during CTFs. I calculated with my handy dandy calculator about 72.357125%. Don't quote me on that though. And no, I didn't use it on a calculator. How the hell would I even add that up? All right, let's go to our next slide. Different types of enumerations that we can from here. We can either go do via NMAP scan. We can use the NMAP scripting engine. I almost forgot what the N stood for. We can utilize NetCat. That one's a little bit interesting. We can also use it to create like reverse shells to a target as well. There is anonymous authentication. That is being able to log in without any credentials. Common credentials, which common sense, I'm not filling that part in, and brute forcing. We just trying to kick the door in and then see what we can get in. And there's also common commands that are utilized with FTP, commands that I like to use as well, which are get, put, binary, and print working directory. This is going to be a Linux command for the PWD. dir will basically be for Windows. Now, using NMAP, one must ask, how do we make that work? And this is asked by the obvious Nicholas No Lips gang, because there's like, it's like a blank slate, and it's really weird looking to me. So, we're going to have three things. One, NMAP. Two, NMAP NSE. And a little something on the side that I will be showing y'all. I don't know why I just made a southern man accent. Alright, so there's going to be 5 different ways that we can use NMAP to enumerate. We're going to use a basic NMAP scan. We're going to use an all script scan and that's designed to go through all the I just brain farted. Medium, not too hard, not too soft fart there. Yeah, it's to enumerate, to enable OS detection, detect software versions, running as many scripts as it can to see if there are any vulnerabilities on the port that we select there. We can use save scripts and enumerate version flags, and we can use the NMAP scripting engine. Or there is another script that's called vulnscan And there's the GitHub link to that right there. GitHub link to that there, that I will definitely show you during demo time. Now let's get this party started. All right. Now, we have our generic NMAP scan. So since we're doing FTP enumeration, guess which port we're scanning? It's going to be port 21. So we're going to use that by specifying the -P flag and FTP on port 21. And there is our IP. We hit enter. We basically get the most generic, cut and dry look on what is on port 21. Now next, if you want to enable like all scripts and versions and things like that, with this particular scan with the -A, we'll go and let that run, and this one will go through, as I was saying, all the enumeration versions that it can dig out, especially for this particular port. And here we have a little bit more details, which is, this is VSTPD running on software version 3.0.3. Now, we want to do the same thing. This is going to basically produce like the same results of using the -SC for save scripts and -V to enumerate versions, but a little bit less info, as you see here. We still have the same info that's here, except we don't have OS scan results, OS detection, and things like that there. Now, our next one is to be able to use the NMAP scripting engine, which is going to be located at this path here, user share NMAP and scripts. We can simply run ls and then grep for FTP. That will give us all of these entries shot. And to use all of these entries shot, we simply run the NMAP, not in capital letters, you dolt, and we go specify our port 21. And how we call the NSC, NMAP scripting engine, we go -- script equals, and here we're going to do this group here, since it says, since this has T in it, we're not doing it. Sorry, my stutter kicked in there. All right, so we're going to go FTP, not FPT, FTP. Why did I do it twice? And --. The star will be our wildcard, so it'll go through each one of these here, just not that one. And it will produce our results once it scans. I probably should have put the damn IP address in there. I did not, like a stooge. And let me fix that problem like so. So what this is going to do is going to run a scan on each and every one of these particular... Wait. I have to include you too. There we go. Not you. It will scan each one of these scripts here, and to scan to see if these are vulnerable at all. So now that that is said and done, we'll come back to this one because it's going to take a hot minute. Let us continue with the presentation. Our next tool that we're going to be learning is about NetCat. I wonder how interesting this one's going to be. This one's a little bit generic, pretty much like basic entry-level type stuff that we can do with it. It's basically a network utility that can read or write to network connections via TCP or UDP. It can be used for things like port scanning, simply listening on a port for remote shell, or connecting to a target in order to transfer files. It can also be used as a backdoor. Now, some useful commands that we can use are, look at him looking just so contemplative about his life. We definitely use, these are flags that I use myself. We have our listening mode, which means like we are listening for connections that are coming in, specifying our port, only using IP addresses to connect with us or trying to connect to, and verbose mode. Now, what time is it on the moon? I for dang sure do not know, but what I do know, that it's demo time. So let's go and bring up this. So we don't need to be in user share NMAP scripts at all. We can simply just use our NetCat here, which is NC, enter in our IP address for this target, which is -50, and what port do we want to look into here? It's going to be, let's do port 21, since obviously we're dealing with FTP. Hit enter, and now we see that with the banner that we're getting right here is that this is VS FTP running on this version. Pretty good news there. What we can also use as a NetCat 4 is to create a reverse shell to a target system. So let's use a virtual machine to demonstrate that. I just lost the flipping word again. Sorry about my little brain farts there. So let's queue, and we're gonna run this Python file here over to this target. This was for a machine that I did a walkthrough on last week, and it's called Venom from VulnHub. So let's go and see what we have to do here. This command works like so. Okay. Whoops. Typing a little bit faster. 10.0.2.50. And we have to use, let me remember. Yep. And we have to enter in our password. Wait. Wait, what? Hang on. 2 shakes. Okay, let's see. Wait, let me see if I can ping this freaking box. Yes, I can. 10.0.2.50. Okay, hang on 1 second. Let's just do this one first. Object. It's not. Okay, let's try this one again here. And let's not do it at all. Crap, I was like hoping that this flipping thing would work, but it's not. So we're just gonna bypass it and continue on with the lesson. But in my video here, for the machine is called Venom. That was on my live session last Sunday. That one is going to have this process for using NetCat to create a reverse shell. So let's try it differently here. Basically what we'll do is have NetCat. I think I can do it locally. Let's see if we can do it like that instead. So NetCat local. We're going to use the N for numeric IP address, L for listen, V for verbose, P for our port, and I'm just going to go 81. So this is basically how we would connect there. So this is a lot easier here. So we're setting on our local machine. We're just using NetCat, and this principle works in any environment as well. So we're going to use the command NMAP in NetCat. Damn, got confused there. NetCat. We're going to specify these particular flags and listen on port 81. So any connection that's attempting to connect with this workstation on port 81, this is what it's listening for. Here we call it NetCat and put on our local host address. Said we want to communicate with port 81, and this listener picked it up. So if we enter in commands, we get a response, and we can also communicate as well. See, now having a nice little conversation there. All right, so that is that part. Let us keep it moving. Now, authentication. There are 3 different types of authentication. anonymous login, valid credentials, as well as brute forcing. Now, anonymous authentication occurs when accessing an FTP, accessing anything actually, does not require an authenticated user. So we can just say, we are somebody, let me in your house. So think of it as living in a house with zero security, no doorbell, no freaking door, not even a sign that says that there's a dog to protect whatever the hell this house is. It's just a big open space where everyone can see inside. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. This is what FTP looks like with anonymous login, okay? It's just a complete dumpster fire. You could do anything, put files, get files, obviously from the only path that we would have access to if FTP does not allow us to change directories. But it basically looks like this. Like, why would you leave this open and looking like this here? Wait a minute, is somebody playing a damn board game on this floor? That is disgusting. Anyway, moving on. Common credentials. This is pretty self-explanatory. This is essentially like where you have valid credentials that are used to log into an FTP server. Now, I can use the other virtual machine to perform this action, no problemo. So, we have a username and password, which is basically the same. So, we're going to simply use command FTP. Enter that there. What name? And as we see here, login successful. We can look at what's in here, whole 9 yards. Now, without authentication, this is what we should have. We should not be able to log in anonymously. We should get a permission denied, receive a permission denied, meaning that we would need actual credentials to get into this thing. So there is that one. Now, brute forcing is a different story. Brute forcing, we're just saying, F it, kick the dough in, or in Mark Wahlberg's case, let me in the bleeping house. Some of these are, I guess, I want to definitely say that these are realistic scenarios here. Well, maybe not that one, because I don't think that you can actually sidekick a port open. But there's a lot of, it's a mixed bag, you know, of tactics as well as emotions when performing this here. Pros and cons. If our word list for password cracking is short, then it's an easy win. But in reality, when we want to do password cracking and the security is good, we're going to be waiting one hell of a long damn time for us to get some results. Now, if it takes, now one thing to note is that it will take too damn long if their security is strong. So you're going to be waiting for a while if they have good security implementation in their FTP. Common commands that we will use. These are common commands that we will use whenever we're interacting with an FTP server using ASCII. This is the transfer mode if we're working with text files. So if we have like a hint.txt or note.txt, any type of a document, we're going to be, in order for us to be able to grab or interact with that file, we would need to be in ASCII mode. Binary mode is a different story. This is if we're doing, we're going to be transferring images. And so if there's a case of, if there may be like a hint of like an image or any other type of like other file or steganography is in place, this is what we will use the binary mode for. Commands that we will use to interact is either get or put. These are designed for uploading or downloading files. And you use mget and input. This is mass get, mass put, either of the downloading or the uploading of a group of files to an FTP server there. So, let's go back to demo time. So, let's get ourselves a nice little file here. So we're going to exit this. I didn't say edit. I meant exit. Thank you. So let's go and connect to this again. FPT, what the hell are you doing? Okay, so let's go ahead and connect to this FTP server again with the login and password there. Okay, so now we are logged in, and there we have our files there. So this is a folder. So what we will do, in order for this to actually save it to where we want it to be, we'll need to be in whatever folder that we're connected to the FTP server on. So here we have my folder, Design Venom. This is the machine that we're working on. So this is what I want files to go to. So if I want this folder here, actually let's go do a lsla. Okay, this is the only folder that is here. So we will do mget files. So just so y'all know, everything's on the level. We do not have anything related to this folder here. Okay, so we're going to run mget. Second. Huh. I think start. Okay, so let's see if we got it here. Okay, no we don't. Let's just use the regular command. Oops. We have to go into that file first. Into that directory first. I'm gonna run the get this here. Actually, hang on. Let's remove the hint. Okay, so it ain't there. Run this again. And here we have the file there. Now we can also, since we're in here as well, run put. If we have permission to put files. And we do. So we see that we have our notes file that is now there. So this is how we basically like interact with different commands there. Now also, let's try something else different here. Just do a test JPEG. Transfer complete. Let's make sure it's in there. Okay. Just dinking around, seeing if we can go ahead and seeing how to put files and stuff like that. So that's pretty much a good overview of interacting with FTP. Thank you for coming. Thank you for tagging along on this journey with me. I had a blast. And next presentation is going to be on SMB enumeration. And thank you very much for checking this out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on future content. I had fun. I hope you had fun. I am Ch1-R0n1n, and I am out.